of Broadway.
Kessel's becoming quite a story here.
NHL leading scorer Phil Kessel leads the upstart Maple Leafs into Midtown Manhattan to visit Brad Richards and the Rangers, who will unveil a revamped Madison Square Garden.
Welcome to Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena.
Leafs, Rangers on the NHL on TSN next. New York, Madison Square Garden. They call it there the greatest arena in the world. It better be, as they're spending $850 million to fix it up. But one of the new features the fans get, they actually get to watch some of them do the players come onto the ice, just like in Edmonton and Toronto. And Leaf fans will get to watch Tim Connolly make his Toronto Maple Leafs debut right now on the NHL on TSN. How you doing, Canada? James Duthie alongside Aaron Ward, Mark Crawford, and Bob McKenzie. It is a doubleheader night. A little bit later on, the Oilers take on the last undefeated team in the National Hockey League, the Washington Capitals. First up, though, it is the Rangers and the Leafs. Our first look at the very expensive, newly renovated MSG. On a similar note, the Leaf fans getting their first look at the quite expensive, rehabbed Tim Connolly, who is in. Connolly is in. Reimer is out, still having headaches, will not play tonight. He's on IR. He will definitely not play Saturday either. For more on that situation, the guys will call this one Gordon Miller and Mike Johnson. Gentlemen.
James, thank you. A new look Madison Square Garden, and Jonas Gustafsson hopes it's a new look for him because the last time he played here, Mike, it was not pretty.
And one to forget for Jonas Gustafsson last time in New York. He gave up 6 goals, lost 7-0. Marian Gaborik had 4 on him, and he looked poor doing it. Marian Gaborik can make a lot of goalies look silly, but Jonas Gustafsson saw too many pucks go by him, and this game really hurt his season, ruined his confidence. He was never quite the same afterwards, and it's going to be his ball to run with right now for the Toronto Maple Leafs, who are off to a good start. He's going to have to put the memories of this game behind him, try to get some consecutive starts and get some wins under the belts, because the Maple Leafs need some better goaltending out of Jonas Gustafsson.
Now, he took the loss on Monday against the Philadelphia Flyers, but when 39-year-old Jaromir Jagr gets 3 breakaways on you, maybe goaltending isn't the problem.
Well, if Jagr's slipping in behind you, they might want to be aware when Marian Gaborik's on the ice, because he loves blowing the zone, and you're not going to catch him. Bad gaps, bad footwork, and decisions led for Jaromir Jagr to get in behind the Toronto Maple Leafs several times, several odd man rushes, and Jonas Gustafsson gets beat on 2 breakaways, which is understandable. Yes, they'll have to tighten up very much so in the neutral zone and be aware when Gaborik's on the ice. He'll watch that video and salivate at the chance of doing that tonight.
The Rangers traveled 16,000 miles, played exhibition and regular season games in 6 countries and 6 different time zones, but finally they play their home opener tonight. James?
All right, thanks very much. What is reasonable to expect from Tim Connolly when he hasn't played since September and he's jumping on with 2 guys who've been terrific together in Kessel and Lupul?
Well, I think there's a sense that he can ride right along on the coattails of those 2 guys, but obviously Toronto Maple Leafs signed this guy to be a big-time #1 offensive center, a 2-year stopgap contract, if you will, at $4.75 million per year. So they do expect him. It's maybe a little much on the first night to come in and light the world on fire. And he's coming off a fairly significant injury. I mean, he cracked a bone in his shoulder in the preseason. It was initially not showing up on an MRI. He went from being day-to-day to week-to-week. He's finally healthy, ready to go. See what he's got.
Lions keep changing, goalie situations in flux because of the Reimer injuries. It's safe to say the most stable thing on the Maple Leafs so far has been their captain?
Yeah, lost in the Phil Kessel Festival that's ignited Toronto right now is the play of Dion Phaneuf. Off the ice, he's embracing the role as the voice coming from the locker room, quite different from Calgary. And on the ice, he's still that presence. Offensively, he's the catalyst letting go that bomb and still maintaining that physical edge that comes with, just ask DeCosta right here, comes with being the captain. Phaneuf, he's exercising in every capacity his ability on the ice. He's being consistent and composed in every facet of the game.
After that half-round-the-world tour the Rangers had, their fans get their first look at Brad Richards, who has been okay. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. He certainly hasn't been at his best. But I do know one thing about Brad Richards. When you get him a favorable matchup, he produces. Brad is a very cerebral player. He likes to think about where he attacks the opposition players, from what position he attacks from. And I think tonight is John Tortorella's first chance for him to get a favorable matchup for Brad. He won't see, hopefully, Dion Phaneuf and Gunnarsson. He'll end up getting a chance to play against the lesser likes, and that's usually where he excels.
Let's get more on the James Reimer situation now. Mike Johnson is with Leafs coach Ron Wilson.
All right, Ron, a bit of a surprise decision with Jonas Gustafsson getting the start. Can you update us on James Reimer's status?
Well, James was 100% yesterday in practice. Post-practice, he didn't feel well, so we decided to err on the side of caution and put Jonas in, who's played relatively well at times against the Rangers in the past, and he's on a little bit of a roll now, so hopefully he can get some confidence and we can give Reims enough time to get 100% again.
And you're getting Tim Connolly back in the lineup for the first time. What are you expecting out of him? Or was there any hesitancy to put him with Kessel and Lupul, two guys that are playing well without him?
Well, I expect a hat trick, maybe 6 or 7 points. No, I think actually this is a good time for Tim to get in there because those guys are playing so well. They played basically with 4 or 5 different centers over the first 2 weeks of the season, so I think Tim can come in there and kind of draft behind those guys, just get them the puck, and be a good third man high and kind of get his feet wet.
Thanks, Ron.
And again, repeating, Reimer is on IR. He will not play Saturday against Pittsburgh either. The drop of the puck, and don't forget to log on to tsn.ca. Take part in tonight's NHL on TSN game.
Welcome back to Madison Square Garden in New York, where the Rangers are being introduced to their fans who haven't seen them in quite some time.
Number 42, Artyom Anisimov.
The Rangers played 4 exhibition games in Europe, 3 in 3 days in 3 countries. In fact, they were in 3 countries in 1 day on that exhibition tour that opened in Stockholm with a pair, came home, played against the Islanders, went west and played 4 straight against Canadian teams and took 3 of those 4 on that trip through Vancouver, Calgary, Edmonton, and Winnipeg.
44, Steve Eminger.
And they're saving the captains for last, and so Brad Richards, who is playing his first game as a Ranger at Madison Square Garden, will be among the last players introduced to this crowd.
Number 45, Chris Newberry. Number 53, Tim Erickson.
Tim Erickson's dad, Jan, played 9 years with the Rangers. Came over in a trade from Calgary, which could not sign him, so Erickson will make his
Number
MSG debut
86,
tonight as well.
Wojtek Wolski.
And now, Brad Richards.
Alternate captain, number 19, Brad Richards. And Rangers captain, number 24, Ryan Callahan.
Notable by his absence, alternate captain Mark Stahl, who is still not playing yet this season due to concussion symptoms.
2012 New York Rangers.
So it's a new look for Madison Square Garden. This is a 3-stage renovation that is going on here. Phase 1 took place over the summer and part of last season. A new lower bowl put in here, brand new seats and a new seating configuration that makes it more traditional. It's an $850 million project. It'll be done in about 2.5 years from now. This is a look at the Rangers' new dressing room, which is, as you might expect, quite opulent. The new visitors' room also has lots of room. There are big screen TVs everywhere. The concourses have been expanded. There are updated chairs, and some of the best restaurants in New York, including the legendary Carnegie Deli, are represented here. So the world's most famous arena is going through the world's most expensive upgrade and won't be done for a couple of years. And now the Toronto Maple Leafs will take to the ice. The Maple Leafs wrapping up a 4-game road trip. They opened with a loss in Boston, won in overtime in Montreal, lost in Philadelphia on Monday. And they're home against Pittsburgh on Saturday. And Jonas Gustafsson, we talked about him, Mike, and the fact that he has nightmares from his last visit here and what Marian Gaborik did to him. 4 goals in the first 2 periods.
Want to better that tonight, of course. He might be a little confident knowing that it's going to be his team for the next little while with James Reimer headed to the IR.
His backup tonight is Ben Scrivens, who had a shutout last night for the Marlies against Abbotsford, Calgary's farm team. He gets up, Nazem Kadri goes down, and Kadri goes down just in time to join the farm team for a 9-game, 18-day trip on the bus that will take them all the way down to Texas and back.
If he needs any motivation to get back to the NHL, that should be it.
And now set for the national anthem, which for so many years here in New York has been sung by John Amarante.
Ladies and gentlemen, we ask that you please rise and remove your caps for the singing of our national anthem. Tonight's colors are presented by the Canadian Consulate General, New York, and the Fire Department of New York. Here to sing, O Canada and the Star-Spangled Banner, please welcome John Amarante.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true North strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming. When the rockets' red glare and the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled
Well, it wouldn't be New York if we weren't running a little bit late. Finally getting set for the start of the Maple Leafs and the Rangers. And in goal for Toronto, it is 26-year-old Jonas Gustafsson, who took the loss against Philadelphia on Monday, allowing 4 goals on 30 shots. He got the win in relief of James Reimer on Saturday in Montreal. And for the Rangers, the home opener is started, of course, by 29-year-old Henrik Lundqvist, who didn't play against Winnipeg in the Rangers win on Monday. That ended a 32-game consecutive start streak for him. He was terrific in Vancouver on the road trip, making 40 saves for a 4-0 shutout. And Mike, the Maple Leafs get an important addition back tonight.
And it's a fun game for me involved in. Lots of energy down here for Tim Connolly to make his return, centering that number 1 line. They went out and got him this summer to play specifically in this spot with Phil Kessel. Phil Kessel's off to a fantastic start. They're hoping he can even be better with Tim Connolly.
So Connolly will make his long-awaited Leaf debut after suffering a shoulder injury in training camp. Carl Gunnarsson goes back to the loose puck, and he got smucked there by Ruslan Fedotenko. Nikolai Kulemin out there along with Grabowski and MacArthur for Toronto. And Marian Gaborik plays it ahead. Rangers won the last 3 meetings last year. The last 2 were by shutout. Kulemin at the line, kept in, and that shot from John Michael Lyles deflects wide. Among the improvements made to Madison Square Garden, the ice. A new floor put in. And this floor, by the way, is on the 5th floor of this building, which is above a theater and Penn Station.
The old ice was not very good, always dirty, always slow and choppy.
Tim Connolly in across the line for Toronto, drops it off for Kessel. That's intercepted, and Brandon Dubinsky back the other way for New York. Dubinsky chips that ahead. Thomas Eric goes back. Dubinsky tries to feed in front, and that pass misfired. Eric Stepan out there along with Ryan Callahan and Dubinsky. And now Stepan on it. He and Dubinsky both having their offensive struggles this year. And now Lyles with it. Goes off the boards and out to Kessel, the hottest stick in the NHL. Phil Kessel with 9 goals in his first 8 games of the year. Threads that through for Lupul. A pass for Tyler Bozak, misfired. Dan Girardi goes back. Rangers have had an awful time scoring goals so far this season. Second lowest scoring team in the league, trailing only Nashville.
It's not even just scoring goals scored, it's getting shots and generating chances, averaging just over 20 a game.
And there's an icing call against New York.
Tim Connolly out there for his first shift with that number 1 line, shows the good hands, dancing through the middle, keeping everybody on side. He's got Joffrey Lupul for a one-timer on one side, trying to force it back to Phil Kessel, loses the puck. That's going to be the tendency he has to fight, trying to force the pucks to Phil Kessel because he's playing so well, because he's scoring so many goals. You have to let the game come to you and do what you think is natural.
Of course, with Brad Richards signing with New York, Connolly became the B plan for Toronto, and the Maple Leafs gave him a 2-year contract. Wojtek Wolski sends it in looking for Brandon Prust. Wolski is back from injury for New York. Sends it back in front. Great chance there at the sign of the goal for Boyle. That's stopped by Gustafsson. And Prust back on it. Centers it, and that's fired wide by Gaborik, or by Wolski rather. Now a shot off the outside of the post, and another chance for the Rangers, as Tim Erickson played that through the crease. Luke Schenn bottled up here, now finds Stratton, and Bozak at the head for Toronto. Drops it off with a long shot, handled easily by Henrik Lundqvist, as we send you to James Duthie for an update.
All right, Gord from Philadelphia, watch the feed coming up here by Jaromir Jagr. Hartnell will get it to him, and he goes, slides it through the needle right back to Hartnell, who has his 3rd, and the Flyers have a 1-0 lead on the Jets.
Scott Hartnell is loving life with Jaromir Jagr, as are the Flyers, although they got beaten pretty handily last night in Montreal by the Canadiens. Thomas Eric, who grew up about an hour from here on Long Island, plays it across, still has lots of friends and family coming to games at Madison Square Garden, which is not cheap, and even less so now with the renovation and the attendant price increase. Anisimov got bumped off the puck, and bumped back to Michael Del Zotto. Delzato took a hard wrap, and now Sauer with it. And the Rangers now bottle up as Chris Newbury, the former Maple Leaf, steps up. Newbury to Delzato. Eric Christensen. Knocks it back, and now Delzato tries to thread the needle. Richards chipped that ahead for Gabrick, but it's taken away by Lyle. Gabrick has that knocked away, and Richards sweeps back to pick it up. Now fired in, and back is MacArthur for it. Across to Fanuk. And quickly the Maple Leafs move it out. It's Grabowski to MacArthur. MacArthur winds and fires, and Lundqvist got enough of that to send it wide. Now Fedotenko being watched there by MacArthur. The puck drops down to Steve Eminger. Trying to find Richards. Now goes the other way to Eriksson. Eriksson was actually born in New York State when his dad was playing for the Rangers. Now Pettersson a long shot, and Lundqvist made an awkward save, but knocked the puck up and out of play. Well, the game plan is brought to you by Tim Hortons. Always 20 minutes fresh.
For the Maple Leafs, keep the monster quiet. Protect him. Don't give him too many chances. Don't give him the odd man rushes that the Flyers had last night. And for the Rangers, shoot the puck there at the bottom of the league in shots taken. Gotta just don't waste, don't overpass, hit the net, get pucks to the net against Gustafsson.
Dubinsky able to chip that out for the Rangers. And back to pick it up is Jake Gardner, who's a regular now, playing over 20 minutes a game for Toronto. In his first full year. Kessel being watched closely, drops it off for Lupul, but that plays offside. And now Lupul gets into it with Callahan. Sticks and gloves are up in behind the Ranger goal.
This is going to be a matchup to watch this whole game. Girardi, McDonough, and Dubinsky, Callahan against this #1 line. And they thrive on playing this way, do Dubinsky and Callahan. They love the emotion and the physicality. Try to get under the skin of this high-flying Leaf line.
And also not here tonight, Sean Avery, longtime fan favorite. Check out this banner, which is up at Madison Square Garden. Probably not for much longer. Send torts to the whale, it says. John Tortorella, of course, feuded for most of last year with Avery. Sean Avery is in the American Hockey League with the Connecticut Whale, and it is highly unlikely he'll be brought back up with the re-entry waiver process that could see the Rangers on the hook for a cap hit without having him in the lineup. And the Tortorella-Avery relationship last year went beyond strain, but Avery remains a very popular player here in New York. The Rangers have some significant salary partners in the American Hockey League. Wade Redden's down there as well. So now, around, offsetting penalties to Callahan and Lupul. And so it's 4-on-4 here, 5 minutes into the first period. Enough ahead for Kessel. Kessel working on Ryan McDonough, and McDonough strips him of the puck and feeds it ahead to Stepan. Stepan for Richards, and Richards shoots. Gustafsson makes an awkward save with the right arm, but knocked it away. Sauer tries to play that ahead, knocked down, and a chance for Kessel streaking ahead. And now takes the pass from Grabowski. Sends it back in front. Bozak on it, Sauer battling with him as the Maple Leafs change. And the puck squirts free to Delzato. Michael Delzato was a rookie sensation for New York 2 years ago, and then last year struggled offensively and finished the year in the AHL.
He's played much better to start this season, though.
Back goes Gardner, and a quick chance there for Dubinsky. That's knocked away. Dubinsky and Stepan both looking for their first goals of the season. And Lombardi swings back for Toronto and plays it across to Luke Schenn. Schenn found out today that his brother Brayden broke his foot last night. That Flyer lost to Montreal. Nifty move by Gabrick. In comes Marion Gabrick, loose in front. Gustafsson down, rebound, and McDonough couldn't reach it. Now Girardi with a drive. Gustafsson can't handle. They score. Girardi makes it 1-0 New York.
And a quick start for the Rangers as they get the hometown crowd into it. Dan Girardi capitalized on Marian Gaborik dancing at the blue line against two forwards. First Grabowski, then Lombardi beats them both to the net. And Jonas Gustafsson never gets settled again. Still trying to feel his post, and it just slides through 5-hole off his right leg and in. But it's Marian Gaborik taking advantage of the matchup against two forwards, trading the chance for Girardi to finish.
Dan Girardi leads the NHL in ice time per game, playing more than 28 minutes. That's his first goal of the year. And I would add that to the list of goals on which Gustafsson has struggled here in New York.
So it's a terrible goal to give up, and the reaction from the Leafs bench says it all. A lot of frustrating looks, head hanging down, sticks against the boards. It's a puck you need to save early in a game.
Rangers out shooting Toronto 6-4. It's a busy night in the NHL, by the way. Of course, Montreal's in Boston tonight. We'll have updates as that game progresses. And later on tonight, the Edmonton Oilers in action against the last undefeated team in the NHL, the Washington Capitals.
And number 42, Oct.27.
Eminger's long pass from Callahan, icing waved off as Lyles has to go back to pick it up.
From Gaborik and Anisimov at 6.
Maple Leafs began last year 4-0-1 as well, and then won one of their next 11 games and basically played themselves out of a playoff spot in October and November. Here they're down 1-0 in the first.
James Duthie back with you. Jets have tied things up in Philadelphia. Blake Wheeler takes a shot. It goes off of Randy Jones and fools Sergei Bobrovsky. We're tied up at 1.
The last goal was in 4-on-4 hockey. You are going to get matchups where forwards play against forwards, and here Grabowski and Lombardi have a crack at Marian Gaborik. He beats them both, and then through the rotation, a little bit of confusion as McDonough also crashed down, and then just a point shot that squeaks through Gustafsson. But those are the kind of matchups you get 4-on-4, and tough job for Lombardi to keep Marian Gaborik away from the net.
Talking before the break about how Toronto sagged after that quick start. Part of the story was injuries to goaltenders. Remember, Jean-Sébastien Giguère got hurt early last season as well. Thomas Eric banks that down to the Ranger zone, and Ericsson's back to pick it up. For Eminger, bounces off the leg of Gaborik. Gaborik scored 4 times in the Rangers' first 5 games of the year. He's out there with Brad Richards. And Richards in across the line. Quick shot on Gustafsson, knocks that to the corner. Mike, Gustafsson does not look comfortable.
No, confidence has to be shaken.
In comes Lupul, drops the Lupul, sharp angle shot. Lundqvist makes the save on that. And Lundqvist watches carefully as circling in behind him was Phil Kessel. Now Lupul centers it onto the stick of Gaborik, and the Rangers are away as Gaborik swings back as the Rangers are changing. Sends it across, and Ryan McDonough was almost in alone.
That looked dangerous.
Jumping in is Kessel. In on Girardi, and Kessel flips that wide of the goal. Brandon Prust gives it away. Kessel back on it. Spins and shoots with fans on the shot. Now Gardner with it. Gardner down low to Lupul. Sends it back in front, and Grabowski couldn't find the handle. Back to Phaneuf, which wrist shot that floats wide. And third attempted Kessel up high. And Grabowski on it. McDonough out for Prust, and the Rangers are away. Ryan Boyle couldn't corral it, but Volsky races to it. Wojtek Volsky lays it down low, looking for Prust, and MacArthur's on it. Now Phaneuf bumping with Volsky. MacArthur kicks that to the line and just out. Delzato across to Sauer. And Michael Delzato back on it. Pass chipped in by Stepan. Ryan Callahan. Back at the line, Delzato. Looking back for Callahan. Dubinsky's on it. Brandon Dubinsky steps away from Lyles and peels back. Looks down for Callahan. Stepan back to Delzato with time. Delzato with a wrist shot. Scores! No goal. They're waving it off. Referee Ian Walsh says no goal. Goalie interference. And the locals don't like it.
Very emphatically waved off, though, no question about that. As there's good puck movement out to the point. Delzato lets the wrister in for a tip. Mike Komisarek fighting Ryan Callahan for position. I think that's a good call. Callahan was encroaching on Gustafsson's foot, and you look at Gustafsson, tries to move his left leg towards that puck, and he can't. It gets pinned in behind him because Callahan was in the blue paint. You can't take that path to get to the front of the net through the crease without expecting that kind of call.
And so it remains 1-0. The shots 8-4 in favor of New York as we approach the midway point of the period. Bozak has that bounce away, and Eric Christensen on it. Backhands it back down to the Toronto zone. Eric Christensen's been in and out of the New York lineup. Plays it back to Everton with a shot. That goes just wide. Other side is Eriksson. He fires it wide of the goal, looking for Christensen. Nifty move by Christensen. Loose down low. Plays it back for Anisimov. Artem Anisimov, who's been demoted to the fourth line in time. Drops it back down. Centering pass was off the pad of Gustafsson. Anisimov plays it back into the Toronto zone. Gardner has to peel back, and now the Rangers will change.
Energetic start for the Rangers, being very good on the cycle.
Matt Fratton works in. Waiting for help to arrive off the Toronto bench. Buys some time. And plays it back for Canuck, but the puck leaves the zone. Gunnarsson being harassed by Gabrick, who almost picked his pocket. And Richards is back with it. He's out ahead for Fedotenko to pass this. Jefferson for Fanuk. Line off the glass to Philippe Dupuis. Toronto goes back, collides with Dave Steckel. Steckel's got goals in his last 3 games for Toronto. The first 3-game goal-scoring streak of his career. Fires, and that goes off the pad of Lundqvist and wide. Dupuis battles down in the corner, fights his way in front. Lundqvist checks that away. And Fedotenko has it for New York. That pass intercepted by Steckel. And Steckel wins the fight for the puck for the moment. Now Gabrick plays it out.
It's a pass that Fedotenko can't make there. End of a shift. He needs a change. Got to get it to the red line to get a dump.
Now Lyles peels back, being watched by Dubinsky. Enough to Kessel. Looks ahead to Connolly, and in comes Tim Connolly. Connolly centers it. Kessel didn't get out of it. Lundqvist the save, and again on the rebound. Lundqvist makes 2 great point-blank stops. Rangers lead 1-0. The NHL on TSN. Back to New York after this.
Brad Richards brought in to produce offense, but he does play a 200-foot game. Responsible in the neutral zone, first man back, turning it up quickly. He is a centerman. He does have to play down low, in around the net, taking Dupuis hard into the goal to get the clear, doing what he's supposed to do. And then you see the dangerous first line off the rush. Tim Connolly finds Phil Kessel, who hasn't missed many of those so far, and Joffrey Lupul ever opportunistic right around the net as well as they test Henrik Lundqvist, playing deep on his goal line once again.
As perhaps only he can do. Here's Kessel with it off the draw, and Gardner can't hold the line. Eric Stepan lost another draw for New York. He has last year had the worst face-off percentage of any eligible player, and this year is mired once again down around 40%.
But he plays better at center when he looked past the face-offs, and he's there for the first time this year after starting the first 7 games on the wing with Richards and Gabrick.
Kessel looking for the long cross-ice pass, but Ryan McDonough stepped in front of that, and in comes McDonough. McDonough with a sharp angle shot. Gustafsson save, rebound, Dubinsky scores! And again, they're saying no goal. They're going to call a penalty on Callahan. So the Rangers have had 2 goals disallowed in the last couple of minutes.
From down here, Gordon, it looked like the second shot went in off the rebound before all the Blardies got down around the front of the crease.
And they're going to call a penalty to Callahan for goalie interference.
McDonough takes the angle shot, puts it right back up the middle, and there's the one that gets in, but it's Callahan on the rebound. As he doesn't do enough to stop bumping into Jonas Gustafsson and gets the goalie interference. It's a difficult spot to be in when you're driving the net, to know where the puck is and the goalie and stopping in time. Watching the replay again, I think that's another correct call by the referees.
Tortorella's waiting for the replay, but I don't think we'll see it on the big screen here. So the Rangers, the most penalized team in the NHL, are shorthanded again. Pardon me, there's no penalty. Now Callahan is free. He's been paroled. So how does that happen?
I think they might be calling goalie interference,
But not a penalty.
but not a penalty.
That is possible. However, they did announce a goalie interference penalty.
And that's what
And now Tortorella's blowing his stack.
Denny LaRue is explaining to the Leafs.
And Ron Wilson's not happy either. They can commiserate about that at the next U.S. Olympic team reunion from 2010. Wilson was the head coach and Tortorella was one of his assistants. So the Rangers had two waved off. And it's 5-on-5, and it's called incidental contact, not goalie interference. A while since I've seen a guy get out of a penalty box like that. Maybe arguing does work.
You don't see that very often at all.
Kuhlman sends that down to the Ranger zone. And Clark MacArthur trying to pick it out, which he does. MacArthur feeds it back, and there's a shot by Komisarek. Gets blocked with a chance now for the Rangers, 2-on-1. Wojtek Wolski, Brandon Prust, drops the trailer. Boyle with a shot, that was blocked. Rebound, and Boyle put it wide. And now a penalty coming. And they're going to call it against Brandon Prust for interference. And the Rangers will be penalized this time.
Brandon Prust going to the box. There's been all kinds of action in and around the Leafs net. And he's looking for a rebound. He decides just to lean on John Michael Lyles and shoves him into Gustafsson. A little over-aggressive on the stop-up. Takes the penalty in the offensive zone.
Brandon Prust was benched in Vancouver after taking a bad penalty in the second period. Played about 7:45 of that game as Tortorella was doing everything to try to get his team to stop taking penalties. And now Ranger fans are going to finally see a penalty called to Toronto. Tim Connolly will go off for interference on Brandon Dubinsky, and that will end the Toronto power play 10 seconds in.
Connolly caught in no man's land, standing still as Dubinsky's going to chip it by him and chase it down. He just dives into his hips and gets the interference call, negating the power play.
So it's 4-on-4, and it's been an entertaining first period. Well, you know, referees always say if both teams are unhappy, they've probably done a good job. So
And they're having a fantastic first period then.
off the face-off win, Phaneuf was looking ahead for Bozak. That pass broken up. Gunnarsson goes back to pick it up. Away comes Carl Gunnarsson. Works it and shoots. First chance is blocked, and the second is eaten up by Lundqvist. The NHL on TSN is brought to you by the Chevrolet Sonic. It's fun, turbocharged Chevrolet, driving our world forward. Ward Miller, Mike Johnson here in downtown Manhattan. Midtown Manhattan, we should say. Madison Square Garden, where the Rangers are the last team in the league to play their home opener. And they'll have to do the same thing next year as the renovation project will continue. One thing helping it, though, the NBA lockout. Ryan McDonough works his way across the line. The puck rolled away from him. Another penalty coming up. This time it'll be Toronto again. And so the Rangers will get a 4-on-3 power play when we come back to MSG.
Bizarro goal in Boston. Thomas Buchanan wins the draw clean. So clean, Carey Price isn't ready. It goes through him. Bergeron does a face plant and gets credit for the goal. It's 1-0 Bruins.
4-on-3 coming up for the Rangers as Carl Gunnarsson gets caught reaching on McDonough. Just gives the slightest of tugs. Look worse from Ian Walsh's angle than it probably was, but it's a full minute 15, 4-on-3.
And barring more penalties, a 10-second 5-on-3 at the end of it for New York. Back at the line, Richards moves in, drops it across, Stepan with it. Looking back for Gaborik at the point. Stepan now with it, 4 forwards on this power play for New York. Gaborik feeds across to Richards. Crowd hollering for a shot. Stepan fires. Gustafsson makes an off-balance save. And now Richards knocks it down at the line. Richards to Stepan. Callahan standing in front. This is Gaborik. Gaborik winds his way in. Peels back, being watched by Steckel. Richards. Gaborik. Stepan. Gaborik, Richards shoots, Gustafsson down, rebound, what a save! Brian Callahan had it taken away by Jonas Gustafsson.
Jonas Gustafsson makes a big save as the Rangers finally get it worked down to the front of the net. Ryan Callahan was down there the whole time waiting for a puck to get down there. He gets the tip, and then the long arm of Gustafsson flags down the rebound attempt. At least bench was up to applaud that effort.
And a face-off loss by New York, and that allows Komisarek to send it down. So 20 seconds to go. And the penalty to Brandon Prost. Gaborik for Callahan. Back to Gaborik. Richards once again back at the point. Brad Richards with a shot. Gustafsson save. Rebound and tapped wide by Callahan.
Gustafsson busy in his net board, sliding across. I know it's difficult to read that, and a penalty coming up as Mike Komisarek got a high stick from Callahan.
So a second before, the Rangers were about to get a brief 5-on-3. They take a high sticking penalty.
And Stepan saying he didn't touch him. Oh, I don't.
Did he?
know if he did. Looked like it went to the side of his head, got close. But I don't think it caught him in the mouth. Don't know if he caught skin, maybe on the helmet. Mike Komisarek might have sold that one.
Now they got to figure out some clock issues here. And it's getting complicated now.
3-on-3.
It's like practice. All right, so now Prost is out. Rangers on the power play for 10 seconds. Then it's 4-on-4 for about a minute 20. Then it's a Toronto power play. Got all that? And another penalty wipes it all out. So for now it's 4-on-4. MacArthur working in with Shed. And McDonough goes back. Shoots up by Girardi, lost the puck on the side of the goal, now gets it back. And feeds it ahead. Away comes Fedotenko. Ruslan Fedotenko busting in. Fedotenko loose in front. Poke check by Gustafsson. And now Gustafsson had lost his stick for the moment. Still can't find it. As Fedotenko goes looking for the loose puck. And now Shen has the puck, and Gustafsson has his stick back. This has been an odd first period. Now the Leafs on the power play. Stepan is serving his high sticking foul. In comes Kessel. On the man advantage. Phil Kessel works it and shoots. One push to save. Kessel back on it. Smiles off the bench. Drives it in front. Rebound pounded wide by Connolly. Now Connolly back with it. Lost the puck. And it's sent down the ice by Prost.
Tim Connolly's right in front of the net there, and he's trying to slip it to Lupo on the back door. It might be better served by just hammering that puck to the top of the net.
Kind of appropriate that Connolly would make his Leaf debut in New York State. Born in Syracuse, drafted by the Islanders, played for Buffalo. Breaks free to Anisimov, being launched there by Connolly. Straight water bottle in the slot. It's knocked away. Now Anisimov fires it down. Lyle for Bozak. Up ahead to Fratton, who chips it down to the Ranger zone. Girardi has a look for that on the stick of MacArthur, tries to center it. And now Girardi falls on it, and we're going to face off in the New York zone.
Power play for the Maple Leafs, a couple chances. Always a good play to get the puck to Phil Kessel. And looks how he generates speed, coming deep. He pushes Delzato back. He cannot skate with him. He's moving that well. And then a puck right on Tim Connolly's stick. And he's looking to slide that one back door. A good idea. Couldn't find Joffrey Lupul's stick for a tap-in. Phil Kessel is so dangerous right now whenever he gets the puck.
9 goals this year, Mike, on 27 shots.
You can see the respect he's getting, though, the kind of gap he creates because he's skating so fast. Rangers defensemen just start heading backwards.
Eriksson back to pick it up, being watched by Fratton. 2:10 to go in the opening period. Rangers leading 1-0. There are those who suspect they should be up 3-0. The Rangers have had 2 disallowed. Eminger. Stands on ahead for Richards. And Gunnarson's got a rear view window full of Marian Gaborik. Now Komisarek with it. Mike Komisarek goes rink wide. Finds Lombardi. Matthew Lombardi centers it, just missed Pratt. And Lombardi took a hard shot from Eminger at the end of that play. Steve Eminger looks ahead for Volsky. And Wojciech Volsky chips that down to the Toronto zone. Lyles, long lead feet, and Dupuis knocked it into the Ranger bench, and play is called.
They're going to put that one all the way deep into the Ranger zone because it went inside the bench. National Leafs with David Steckel on the ice to get an offensive zone faceoff, one of the best faceoff guys in the league.
60%. He's number 2 in the league right now. He led the NHL in faceoff percentage last year. When he's above 50%, the Maple Leafs win. If not, they've lost. Hate to put it all on him, but
they take 60% of their wins for the year.
Who wouldn't? Here's Dupuis with it. Feeds it down, and Stepan, who loves some of that face-off success, plays that to center ice. Stepan, final minute now in the period. And it's backhanded out by Mike Brown. Gunnarsson. Browns to Phaneuf. Toronto captain looks ahead for Brown. He was bumped. The puck bounced away from Steckel. Lead pass to Stepan. He'll send that down to the Toronto zone. Phaneuf goes back. Bumped there by Dubinsky. Gunnarsson, though, picks it up and finds Brown. Drop back for Grabowski. Now Grabowski, the shot high off Lundqvist. The puck dropped down to the slot. And Boyle looked over Dubinsky. He was slammed down by Komisarek. In comes Grabowski. Drops it off for MacArthur. Feeds it back to Kuhlman. Kuhlman loses, but Lundqvist down. The puck is loose. And Lundqvist reaches out and freezes it. And Mike Komisarek unloaded.
And that's what caused the breakdown for the Rangers. Mike Komisarek steps into Brandon Dubinsky on the boards and lights him up. And as Brian Boyle just starts to discuss things with Mike Komisarek, Nikolai Kuhlman with another hard cut to the far post. Both teams have been attacking the goal crease aggressively. And Henrik Lundqvist is able to smother the rebound.
Boy, Lundqvist's game in Vancouver last week was one for the ages, wasn't it?
He was so fantastic, and he makes it look so much easier than it is.
It's hard to remember a team getting outplayed that badly and winning 4-0. Komisarek, long drive, goes wide. Final seconds now in the period. This is Prust with it. Prust through the middle for Boyle, almost snuck in behind Komisarek. And McDonough will spend the rest of the time off the clock and gets shoving with Joffrey Lupul. So the Rangers score 1, have 2 disallowed, and lead by a score of 1-0 after 20 minutes of play. And we're set now for our first intermission. Here's your host, James Duffy.
Preston warm-up, trying to get ready. Absolutely exhausting himself in the neutral zone, back and forth, back and forth. Pretty much the exact opposite of my warm-up. He's battling in front of the net, all in an effort to be ready to play. And apparently he's working because he had a good start to the season for him, although he took that penalty in the first period.
And what about this, Mike? The teams begin the second period 5-on-5.
Can't last long.
And Callahan, who was in the thick of things the whole first period, moves in, trying to find Dubinsky. His stick was tied up by Gunnarsson. Now a centering pass by Girardi knocked away. And Tim Connolly plays it across to Lupul. Off to Lupul up the center ice to Kessel. And Phaneuf jumps into the rush. A long wrist shot goes off a stick and up and out of play.
Dion Phaneuf has had a fantastic start to his season. Bringing it on the offensive end, but also being much more reliable, better reads, decisions defensively, and really leading this group. And he has the perma scowl on from the second he steps on the ice for warm-up. There's no smiles. It's all business with Dion Phaneuf.
Actually, way before that on game day. Joking with him in the morning skate is not usually a good idea either. Komisarek drops it back to MacArthur. Winds and fires at a leg in front. Might have hit Grabowski, shaking his leg, and now it's Gaborik away for New York. Marian Gaborik streaking ahead, drops it off for Fedotenko, and Lyle's got in the way of that. Grabowski quickly counterattacks for Toronto. Drops it off to MacArthur. He lost the puck, and away comes New York. It's like a flow drill out there. Richards works in, centers it. It just bounced away from Delzato as Fedotenko got his stick on that. Icing waved off as Sauer goes back for New York. Michael Sauer returns after being out with a shoulder injury, plays it in. And in addition to starting the season with 7 straight on the road, the Rangers without Mark Stahl. That's a huge loss for New York. Matthew Lombardi works in, shoots, scores! Lombardi short side of Lundqvist ties it up.
Matthew Lombardi on a very innocent looking shot from the boards. Slips it by Lundqvist short side. Lombardi, traditionally a centerman, playing on the wing tonight, getting used to attacking along the boards. Nice play by Tyler Bozak, driving up the middle, sliding it over on his stick. The Rangers still, this is okay, there's no way this should go in. And Henrik Lundqvist gets beat 7-hole underneath his arm on a bad goal on Henrik Lundqvist.
Lombardi scored his first game of the year for Toronto. It was his first game in nearly a calendar year after being out last season with concussion issues. The second of the season ties it up, and now Lombardi centers it. And Bozak with a quick chance. That's taken away by Lundqvist.
Newly constructed line. Getting some jump here in the second period. Matthew Lombardi, an elite skater. Absolutely blazing speed when he gets going. He used it there going down the wing. And that last rush to beat out the icing.
Well, funny too, Mike, because when Toronto got Cody Franson and Lombardi from Nashville, it was widely thought that it was Franson they wanted. Right off the draw, we got Mike Brown. And Mike Brown is into it with Newbury, and they are throwing bombs. And that's a unanimous decision for Brown.
Oh my goodness. Discussion before that one even started. And that was no defense. Let's just exchange punches.
Newbury, a former Toronto Maple Leaf.
Newbury got the short end of that one. Mike Brown. Several right off the face-off. Chris Newbury hasn't had a lot of activity in this game. You see the talk right there, and the gloves are off before the puck's even down. And then it's, ooh, wow.
I think they were starting lawnmowers. So off they go to heal their wounds and cool their heels. Remains 5-on-5. But the finish of Lombardi, people thought it was Franson was what everyone thought Toronto was getting, and then Lombardi was a salary dump, and they were eating Lombardi's remaining salary. Well, guess what? Lombardi's a regular. Franson's been a healthy scratch.
Never question about whether Matthew Lombardi could play, it's just whether he would be healthy enough to contribute after missing so much time with concussion.
Quickly, James Deathley with an update.
Gord, our pal Jay Onright's going to have some fun tonight on SportsCenter because Bobrovsky is off the case. Pulled after the Jets go up 5-1. Tanner Glass, the 4th goal. Nick Antropov, the 5th. And there's booze galore in Philly.
Is that B-O-O-S or B-O-O-Z-E? Could be both. There's Girardi fanning on that shot. The chance now for Toronto is Kessel was breaking in. That's knocked away from him as McDonough came back. Now Kessel with another shot. He ripped that wide. Lyles on it. Feeds it down to Kessel. Or Lupel rather. And Lupel couldn't connect with Kessel. Now Komisarek on it. Feeds down low to Lupel. That puck took a strange bounce off the ice. Lyles feeds across to Komisarek. Wrists it off the end boards. Lupel in for Connolly. And that puck drew Lyles out of the zone.
Maple Leafs controlling the neutral zone in the second period. Someone play the entire period in the Rangers zone.
Girardi looks ahead for Callahan with Fedotenko. Trying to drop it was Callahan, and the puck knocked away. Now Eminger plays it in for New York. Put up. Chris pass ahead. And Grabowski with a shot goes just wide.
That's too easy through the neutral zone. You can't make one pass along the boards for a rush opportunity. The Rangers have to tighten things up.
Now Kuhlman moves ahead and drops it down to the Ranger zone. Eriksson goes back. Eminger. Ahead for Fedotenko. And Richards looking for it. A goal Leafs go chant goes up here in New York. Gardner kicks it ahead. Intercepted and turned right back over. A long shot by MacArthur goes wide. Here's Grabowski on it. Spins and shoots, and Lundqvist knocked it right back in the slot. Goes back to Gardner. Quick wrist shot, and Lundqvist had to be quick on that. All of a sudden, Lundqvist looking a little shaky. Pratt feeds it back to Gardner. Gardner across to Shen. Shen back in front. Pratt this time the one-timer, and Emmingers on it. Eriksson finally bats that to the line and out. Maple Leafs have the first 4 shots in the second period. Bozak jumping in across the line, but Lombardi couldn't walk the tightrope. It's offside.
Maple Leafs getting a good start to this period. Dion Phaneuf gets caught on a pinch here. Could be a 2-3-on-1, but Grabowski works his way back. Clark MacArthur works his way back on Callahan, breaking it up before the Leafs finally go the other way. And Gardner thinks he has one here. Pulls the outside of the twine. He's got his hands half up in the air, ready to celebrate.
Gardner still looking for his first pro goal. Hasn't scored in the NHL. Didn't score in 10 games in the Americans last year either, after being acquired from Anaheim. There's Boyle with a quick shot. Goes wide. Now Prust on it. Prust back in front for Boyle. Loose puck, and Volsky couldn't get to it. Delzato brings it around looking for Prust. Prust back in front. Shoots. Gustafsson to the save. The rebound bounces down to Pratt. Quickly ahead to Lombardi. The Maple Leafs are away. And that puck is up into the Toronto bench. And play is called. James Duthie with more action for us.
The Canadians have tied things up against the Bruins. Jaro Spacek will take the shot. Gord. Eric Cole with a nifty deflection in front. Just as second as a Hab. We have one there.
Max Pacioretty telling us after the game last night in Montreal how much he was looking forward to that game tonight, his first meeting against Zdeno Chara since their incident last March.
It's a guy playing a lot of confidence who's going to look forward to play against Zdeno Chara for any reason.
Yes. There's a puck into the Ranger bench again. And Martin Biron's had to make a couple of saves.
He's got to be awake down there. He's going to throw his mask on any minute.
That's 2 pucks that have hit Biron, who sits at the right end of the Ranger bench as we look at it.
And these Rangers bench, these new benches have a curve in them, so that where Marty Biron is sitting, there is less room than down towards center ice. He's tucked in a little corner all by himself.
Gustafsson puts up the stick at Callahan. It's down to Dubinsky. And Dubinsky fights off Connolly. Spins and shoots and dribbles down in front. And Phaneuf's got it. Quickly ahead for Kessel. Kessel in behind the defense. Hill, Kessel is stopped by Lundqvist. Henrik Lundqvist shuts down the NHL's top goal scorer as Kessel burst in. And Lupo with him. Callahan intercepts and plays it back down to the Toronto line. Now Kessel back on it. Leafs are changing. And Kessel knocked down hard by Callahan. And Kessel slow to get to his feet. Now Lyles a long shot. And Kessel back into the play. Steckel is looking back to the point for Lyles, but intercepted by Callahan. The Rangers are away 3-on-2. Rush broken up neatly by Komisarek. Steckel quickly ahead. This is Lupo with it, and Lupo got stopped in his tracks by McDonough. Steckel battles along the wall with Richard. Finally picked out. And moved ahead by Sauer. Trying to find Gabrick. That pass was knocked away. Now Gabrick deals back. Looks ahead. Richards had it knocked away by Komisarek. Now Richards just backhands that down to the Toronto zone. Gabrick steps in. Fighting for the loose puck is Gabrick. Knocked away from him. Richards now has it to Gabrick. Trying to find a Nietzsche-Mob. Backhand shot at Gustafsson. Able to corral that. The NHL on TSN. Back to New York after this.
Heart Source.
Still Kessel, the leading scorer in the league, thinking offense. He blows the zone before the puck's even turned over, and a beautiful pass to space by Dion Phaneuf. And you're not going to catch Phil Kessel. Lundqvist makes a good save. But when you are the leading scorer, you're a marked man, Ryan Callahan. That's Phil Kessel there on the knee, and you see him limp off gingerly as he felt that one on his right leg. Works his way to the bench, and a little help from Ben Scrivens.
And Scrimmons, who is dressing for his second NHL game. He was the backup in Philadelphia on Monday night. And got sent back to the American League, posted a shutout last night, got called back up today. Just earlier, James Reimer goes on IR, is eligible to come off on Sunday. Retroactive to Saturday. Grabowski looks ahead. Now Sauer knocks it away. Delzato. After Grabowski gets shoved in front of the Ranger bench, Maple Leafs are back in on it. But MacArthur couldn't reach that pass. Losing at center ice. Fedotenko was knocked down.
Grabowski accidentally on purpose back at Fedotenko from the shot from behind.
Now Gabrick slowly works it in. Sends the puck rink wide for Delzato with a shot that hit a leg in front. Brown out of the box after that tussle with Newbury. Kicks it across. Grabowski got spun around hard and hit by Prost, and Grabowski slow to get to his feet. And Mikhail Grabowski is limping back to the Toronto bench. Prost goes rink wide. Tipped in by Volsky, but knocked right back out by Schenn. And Wojciech Volsky back on it. Out with that groin strain that John Tortorella seemed to question on the West Coast swing. Said we can't get him out of the hot tub.
Not what you want to hear your coach saying about you when you're trying to work back from an injury.
In comes Fratton for Toronto. Works his way in front. Fratton with a shot. He goes bowling over Lundqvist. And a penalty coming to Fratton. And now some pushing and shoving as Eminger comes in to have a word with Matt Fratton after that collision with Henrik Lundqvist.
The Rangers are definitely going to step in and protect Henrik Lundqvist, as we just saw Phil Kessel limp off a couple of shifts ago. Now it's Mikhail Grabowski takes a hit on the knee from Brandon Prost, and he is slow to get up and get to the bench. And Matt Fratton with a nice move here on Tim Eriksson, drives hard to the post, but just runs out of room, can't get in front of Henrik Lundqvist, goes right over top of him. Easy goalie interference call.
So the Rangers go back to the power play. They were 3 for 28 on the year coming in. 0 for 2 tonight, so they're 3 for 40 on the year.
The optimist would say that they didn't score in their first 4 games, and they had 3 in the last 3.
Here comes Steckel, shorthanded though. Got around Brad Richards, who was victimized not for a shorthanded goal. It came after a penalty expired, but Tortorella was blaming himself for that. Now a chance in front, Gustafsson with a great quick save, as busting in on him was Marian Gaborik.
Marian Gaborik is dancing out here tonight. He is very quick and explosive, dangerous with the puck.
Well, by this point last year in the meeting that Gustafsson played in the Madison Square Garden, Gaborik had a hat trick. Scored 4 times in the first 2 periods. Bozak tries to hack it out. Kubinski keeping it alive for New York. And a battle for the loose puck along the boards. And finally comes out. Komisarek feeds it down. How's the ice look, Mike?
It looks bumpy, snowing now, but even at the beginning of the period, it looks not too flat, not too smooth. Looks like fresh ice, first time playing on it.
Here's Delzato, feeds in front and bounced away from Fedotenko. And Grabowski back out there for Toronto after the hard hit by Prost. Works in shorthanded. Grabowski waits and shoots, bounces down in front, and Lundqvist knocked it away. Grabowski back on it. Lundqvist had to reach out for that. So Grabowski appears to be just fine. And Gunnarsson back to pick up the loose puck. 30 minutes into their first game at home of the year, the Rangers power play is being booed.
They're impatient bunch, the Garden faithful here, but it's the work ethic. It's not the lack of success, and John Tortorella is probably booing inside as well. The puck pursuit and the diligence to get it back. And if you can't get it in and get it set up, you don't give yourself a chance.
Steckel won that faceoff. He was 1 and 3 in the first 2 periods. Now Komisarek with it. Eric Christensen steps into him. Rare shift for Christensen, who's been in and out of the lineup. Girardi steps up. Now Volsky on it. Different power play good for New York. Anisimov, Volsky, and Christensen. There's some frustration from Tortorella, who at times will bench his power play unit when he's not happy, and now we're back to 5-on-5. Lyles feeds it across to Shen. Looks through the middle for Connolly. Off the bench comes Lupul. Connolly works in. Waiting for help. Feeds it back. And Shen busting in. Couldn't handle that bouncing puck. At the line is Kessel backing up Shen. Across he goes to Gardner. Jake Gardner shoots and it bounces wide of the goal. Right to Kessel. Hacks it in front. Connolly trying to feed it to Lupul. That pass misfired. Now Gardner has to retreat as the pass from Lupul missed him. Rangers out shooting Toronto 19-17. Under 9 to go in the second period. Later tonight, in the second half of our doubleheader, the Edmonton Oilers home for the Washington Capitals. The Edmonton Oilers, the #1 defensive team in the NHL. There's a bouncing puck in front. Dubinsky couldn't get there. Now Dubinsky back on it. Beats a step on with a shot. That hit Callahan. Rebound, and Callahan put it wide. Callahan took one for the team there. He blocked that shot from a teammate. Right off his cheek, it appeared to be. Jumping up is Connolly with Lupul. Connolly winds and fires. That goes harmlessly into the corner. Now Gunnarsson plays it back in deep for Lupul. After Lupul battling with Sauer. Puck comes loose to Phaneuf. He's back to Gunnarsson. Passing a little slap pass, missed Kessel. Rangers move it out. Steckel brings it back in onside. Here comes Lupul. He's poked check and Stepan's away. 2-on-1 with Dubinsky. In comes Stepan. Walks in and shoots off the stick of Gunnarsson. It's up and out of play. 1-1 the score here in the second period.
Goals continue to come in bunches in Philadelphia. Nick Antropov pretty between the legs to Evander Kane, who goes skate, stick in the goal. That made it 6-2. Flyers come back on the power play just as it ends. Tiemann with the shot, Briere with the deflection. 6-3 Jets.
Good keep by David Steckel, but in this second period, Joffrey Lupul, Phil Kessel have been getting caught out there too long in shifts, and Lupul goes for a low percentage toe drag, and they don't have enough energy left to get back. Just a good play by Carl Gunnarsson and Dion Phaneuf. They ended up breaking up the 2-on-1.
Eriksson plays it across to Eminger. Eminger looking ahead, trying to find Gaborik. That pass broken up. Steve Eminger playing for his 6th team in the last 5 years. Banks it ahead. Eriksson plays it back for him. Tim Eriksson played for Skellefteå last year in the Swedish Elite League. They went to the Swedish Elite League final for the first time in 33 years. His D partner was David Rundblad, now with the Ottawa Senators. Fedotenko drops it down for Gaborik. That pass intercepted by Grabowski. Moved ahead by Dupuis. Under 7 to go now in the second period. A typically low-scoring Ranger game. There's a centering attempt for Fedotenko, and Gustafsson will block that. Well, coming up next, the Caps and the Oilers. A rare visit by Alexander Ovechkin and company in northern Alberta, where it looks like a new building is on the table. But in the building that Gretzky made famous, it's Ovechkin and the Caps against an Oilers team that is very tough defensively. Nikolai Khabibulin off to a great start this year. Here's Trust. Centers it, and Volsky skated by that. Back at the line, Sauer can't hold it. And John Tortorella, never one to hide his emotions. He buries his head in his hand. Delzato on it for Sauer. Michael Delzato turns the puck over. Grabowski sends it in front. Kuhlman down. Another chance. Oh, what a sliding save was made by Sauer as he took it away from Kuhlman, and then Grabowski saved a goal for sure. Kuhlman ahead for MacArthur. And the crowd buzzing about that. This is the start of a 6-game homestand for New York. The Rangers lucky here.
Michael Sauer back in the lineup, defensive defenseman. He goes with the old school two-pad stack. It's his turnover eventually that caused Grabowski to attack the net. Kuhlman drives wide and he gets down here. He brings the bottom leg across as Grabowski's about to send it into the empty net to keep this game tied up.
Just like they teach in goalie school.
Exactly how you don't teach them to do it anymore in goalie school.
Pratt now lifts that down to the Ranger zone. Johnson 2018 New York, Newbury on it. Up in there with Bozak. And Pratt has it for Toronto. Up ahead for Phaneuf. Dion Phaneuf works in. Quick shot and Lundqvist knocked that away with a catching glove into the corner. Bozak fights his way free. Looks down for Lombardi. And Bozak still on it for Phaneuf. A long wrist shot. And Lundqvist will eat that up. 5:16 to go here in the second period.
The Rangers know Jonas Gustafsson has been struggling, hasn't played well last couple of games, didn't play well here last year, so they're electing to shoot the puck from anywhere. Tight angle shots, everything on his pads, looking for rebounds, maybe a short side dribbler. And for a team that doesn't get a lot of shots, they're not wasting any tonight, putting everything they can at Gustafsson, regardless of the angle.
Shots are even now at 20 apiece. 5:16 to go in the second period. Finally kicks that draw back to Kessel. And Komisarek plays it in deep. Mike Komisarek, healthy scratch in Boston last week. First time in his Toronto career. It was his coach's decision. Step up. Looks ahead for Dubinsky. It's knocked down by Komisarek and fed across to Lyle. Komisarek looks ahead. That pass missed everyone. Back goes Girardi. Icing was waved off in front of the stick of Lupul, but Dubinsky came back to take that away. Step on. Waved up here last year. Stepan scored 21 goals, including a hat trick in his first game. Now a steal by Kessel. In comes Phil Kessel again. Works in. Stopped again by Lundqvist. Centers it, and Grabowski into the glove of Lundqvist. And that's two breakaways for Phil Kessel. Turned away by King Henrik.
You talked about the bad ice score. There it was. Rolling puck out for Delzato. He takes a swing at it, bounces right up over his stick, and Kessel's off to the races again. He tried shooting last time. This time, looks to Deke, and the quick feet of Lundqvist save him. And Lundqvist likes taking warm-ups, very European thing to take breakaways in warm-up, and he puts full effort into these. So he was ready to face a couple tonight.
Off the draw, Kuhlman puts that wide, so Phil Kessel with two breakaways in the game, and Lundqvist equal to the task both times. Delzato brings it back for Sauer. You wouldn't think that Tortorella would be happy with the Ranger home debut so far.
This second period has been not the kind of period the Rangers want to play. They've lost their legs.
In comes Kuhlman with a shot. Lundqvist knocks it down. McCarthy with a chance. Another strange play with the catching glove by Lundqvist. But he's really good on breakaway.
Gonna keep it out of the net. Looks like he almost wants to head those sometimes, like a soccer ball.
Here comes Brown with a long shot, and once again Lundqvist had trouble with it, but this time he'll fall on it and hang on.
Lundqvist electing to slow things down here, and Ryan McDonough battling in the corner, and it's his own teammate stick, Derek Stepan, gets him right in the face. Those are calls that are easy for the referees to miss, thinking that it was a Leaf stick, not a teammate's. Another good non-call by the referees on the high stick on Ryan McDonough.
Trust lost the handle. Now Gardner had to go behind him. This is Wojtek Wolski. Wolski spins away from Shen. Looks down low to Trust. He was bumped there by Steckel. Trust back on it, and Gardner comes across to take it away. And Brown's away for Toronto. A 4-on-2 for the Maple Leafs. Brown through the middle for Shen. That was knocked away, and now Dupuis sends it wide. Under 3 to go in the second period. Centering pass for Dupuis, and Lundqvist will fall on that As Dupuis got a quick backhand shot away.
Henrik Lundqvist finds any way to keep them out of the net. He is European, loves his soccer. He heads this one into his glove as he fights it off, and in the first period, another one he intentionally heads up into the mesh. So channeling his inner Hasek perhaps, using the mask to make saves.
Or his inner Wayne Rooney.
He doesn't want them to go in the net though, he wants to keep them out of the net.
True. When he makes a save with his name bar, he's channeling Dominic Hasek.
True enough.
Got moved ahead to Newbury. That bounced away from him, and Lyles plays it ahead for Toronto. Maple Leafs now out shooting the Rangers 26-20. There's a quick shot by Christensen. Gustafsson will hang on to that. So the Maple Leafs are out shooting them 16-5 here in the second period.
John Tortorella giving his fourth line some minutes because he's not liking what he's seeing out of his top three. And the fourth line does get the puck in the offensive zone and an offensive zone faceoff.
Dubinsky in for the face-off against Connolly. Scramble drop. Leafs won 62% of the face-off in the opening period. Conley on it. And now Kessel's away with Lupul. Kessel working on a McDonough. Fights him off, sends it across. Lupul waits, Lundqvist down. Lupul tries to feed that in front. A loose puck. And they're saying no goal. The Leafs are arguing, how did this not go in? Lundqvist was down and out, and the Leafs were all over the Ranger goal. And on a night when every play around the goal seems to be contested, another controversial play.
We've already seen Michael Sauer keep one now. This time it's Dan Girardi. The wheels of Phil Kessel. Takes the first contact, fights it off, gets it over to Joffrey Lupul, who outweights Lundqvist, throws it back out in front, right into Dan Girardi.
Ooh, you know what?
And if he puts his hand on that, could very well be a penalty shot. Denny LaRue right there.
He not right up the draw. Kessel almost got to it. And Stepan plays it out. Callahan streaking in behind Gunnarsson. They go hard to the corner. Conley slammed there by Dubinsky. Back at the line. McDonough with a shot, and Gustafsson gloves that. Boy, Ryan McDonough can really heat it up, and now it heats up as Dubinsky's into it. He and Phaneuf are jousting.
They've been going at it all period. There's a previous rush where they were talking after the whistle. Two very intense competitors. Dubinsky and Phaneuf.
Let's go back and look at this play in the Ranger crease. Did Dan Girardi at any time?
It gets shot into his legs there, and it's coming out the back of him, and I think that's why they didn't blow it down, because the puck actually trickles out between his skates out the back. Although he looks like he's trying to cover it up. The puck had been lost through his skates already.
Richards plays that back in, and Martin Biron quickly ducked that as he almost took his third puck of the period on the Ranger bench. Biron with a very impressive performance on Monday against Winnipeg.
Talked to him before. He said he was helped by coming in on relief for Henrik Lundqvist against Edmonton. Get some time before he got his first start.
That was a strange one. Lundqvist left that game. It turns out he had new skates, and they were bothering him so much that he couldn't continue.
I guess he put so many pads and extra donuts and foam inside his skate. Eventually, it just got to be too much. It started hurting him.
There's a new one.
He's emptied them out and feels better.
Grabowski swings it rink wide for Lyles. John Michael Lyles tries the center for Grabowski. That's knocked away. And Grabowski back on it. He and Kuhlman go to work, and now MacArthur comes in to help out. Puck loose in the corner, now free for Eriksson in a race for it. As MacArthur comes in on him, he turned it over to him. Kuhlman for Grabowski. Mikhail Grabowski centers it back away from Kuhlman, and the Rangers sloppy there. But they get away with it. Final minute now of the second period. Long lead feed. Missed Dupuis. And that'll be icing against Toronto with 46.8 seconds left in the period. Ravenous Zombies, Sexy Witches, and Tracy Morgan Watch the premiere of Scare Tactics, the show that pulls spine-chilling pranks on unsuspecting victims. Part of Halloween week on Much, Monday at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. Sounds like another day in Manhattan to me.
Halloween coming up on Monday.
Hey, it's Halloween every day here. Here's Girardi, a long shot. Gustafsson save, a long rebound. Bounces down to Volsky. Looks down to Prost. Volsky able to feed that back to Girardi, who's able to hold the line. 30 seconds to go in the period. Eric high in the air. That will be icing once again as Girardi goes back.
Decision time for Ron Wilson. He knows he's got a tired group out there. They lost the last one clean, and here he comes up with the timeout.
Yeah, he's going to call it. And Ron Wilson, perhaps more than any coach in the league, uses his timeouts in icing situations before the third period.
No point in coming to the end of the game with a timeout in your pocket, so use them when he can. Early on here, just to get a rest, not looking for a lot of strategy. Phil Kessel, leading scorer in the league, dangerous again tonight. Early on a pass in front, showing the speed to the outside. You can see the confidence that he has, the explosiveness in his skating step. Unfortunately for him, he's got Henrik Lundqvist in net, who has the answers on the breakaway. He's not one but two, trying two different moves. And he's been turned aside. But it's been another dangerous game for Phil Kessel as he shakes his head in frustration, knowing that he could have a couple.
So Grabowski will take the face-off. He's lost 6 out of 8 that he's taken. Dubinsky's won 5 out of 6. 22 seconds to go in the period. Dubinsky wins it cleanly back. McDonough with a drive. That goes just wide. So just as they drew it, and McDonough missed the net. Almost a steal by Grabowski. And Kuhlman now looks ahead for Dupuis. McDonough goes back. Icing was waved off mercifully for Toronto. And the final second of the period will tick away. As the Maple Leafs equalize it now, Dubinsky and Phaneuf into each other again at the end of the period. And Callahan comes jumping in. So lots of action as Lundqvist faces 2 Kessel breakaways. But Lombardi has the equalizer for Toronto, 1-1 after 40 minutes, as we send you to James Duthie and the panel.
He escorted Aaron Ward, Mark Crawford, Bob McKenzie standing by with their thoughts on that second period of play that was highlighted by Lombardi Softy, but we'll evaluate Tim Connolly and Brad Richards. Plus, Winnipeg built a big lead against the Flyers, but it is dwindling. All your highlights coming.
And this is what happens when you get a new building. The ice hasn't been down very long. I'm not exactly sure why the physics behind it, but pucks just will not bounce the way you expect them. Hasn't welded into the base of the boards. You see some bad bounces, pucks just hopping along. And it's something you have to learn to play with. You have to learn to expect it. You can't necessarily think a puck is going to sit down and take a swing at it like Michael Del Zotto, because it could bounce over your stick and go the other way. At some point you have to alter your game to the ice conditions, and right now the ice, again, start of the period already looks bumpy, should be choppy. You'll see some guys fighting with it because of the ice.
Now, Michael, I will say this to you as a relative youngster. You cannot compare bad ice today to what the old Chicago Stadium had, the old Boston Garden, the old LA Forum.
No.
Those were some bad ice surfaces.
The technology has improved, and the attention to detail. Dan Craig, the NHL ice guy, pays very close attention, but new buildings are new buildings. They haven't figured those out yet.
This is kind of a old new building.
Yes, new ice, I guess, in an old building.
Brad Richards on it, sends it in front, loose puck, Gustafsson down, Dubinsky can't find it. You heard Mark Crawford in that second intermission talking about Brad Richards and the way he's playing, the way he played for Crawford so well last year in Dallas. Kessel sweeps it back across for Connolly. In comes Tim Connolly. Off the leg goes to McDonough. Ryan McDonough has become a mainstay for the Rangers with Mark Stahl out. Komisarek in across the line for Kessel. In comes Kessel. His pocket was picked. And McDonough had it taken right back by Grabowski. Here's Lupul. Great move. Shoots. What a stop by Lundqvist. And Grabowski puts the rebound high and wide. And Henrik Lundqvist once again with a dandy stop for the Rangers.
He's got to fight off Joffrey Lupul's wrister. Jumps on a turnover. Look at the patience here. The long drag. Cocks it and lets it go on a flyby screen from Phil Kessel. And look at the drag and pull. Gets it upstairs, and a good save by Henrik Lundqvist to fight that one off the cuff of his glove.
Grabowski shown out as Kuhlman will step in. Draw controlled for the moment by Toronto. Now the Rangers are away. Gaborik, who's had a active but not productive night for New York. Gaborik sweeps it across to Del Zotto. Banked in by Fedotenko.
Yeah, Christensen out here right now with what is the #1 pair of wingers, Gaborik and Fedotenko.
Richards was out earlier with different wingers as well. Anderson goes back, icing waved off, and here's Lombardi. And Lombardi made no bones about it in that intermission interview that the ice is terrible.
For a player like him who relies on skating, he would know it more than most.
Goes back for it, high off the glass. Pratt tries to knock it down, centers it. Here's Lombardi with a quick shot, goes high and wide. Thomas Eric steps up. Backhands that in, goes high off the glass. Rangers bottled up, now they fire it down. And a race for it, here's Thomas Eric. And you're not going to believe what's going on in Philadelphia. James Duthie?
The following footage will be deeply disturbing for Winnipeg viewers. Just as I was finishing the last update, great play by Couturier to Matt Reed. It's 6-all. Pavlik out, Mason in. Seconds after that, James Van Riemsdyk, 7-6 Flyers.
Yikes.
Oh my goodness. That is quite a comeback for Philly after a tough game last night.
One way to look at it, yes. Not sure that's all be viewed from Winnipeg. Here's Connolly with a chance. Lupul loose in front, they score! Joffrey Lupul gives Toronto the lead.
Just getting pucks and bodies to the front of the net. Well done. Well done by Jake Gardner, moving his feet. Off and icing. Ron Wilson makes a change, gets this #1 line out there in the offensive zone face-off situation, and Tim Connolly wins the face-off clean off Boyle, and then the rotation starts. Phil Kessel drops it, and the movement by Gardner allows him to get that shot through to the net, and good strength by Lupul, dropping to a knee to make sure to get the leverage on his stick just to pop this one up. And you see the flex in that shaft. Needed to get that over Lundqvist.
And lost in the great Kessel start is how good Lupul's been. That's his 5th of the year. And a strong defensive play made by Luke Shen to break up that rush right off the face-off for New York. So the Maple Leafs lead 2-1. A chance to end this 4-game road trip with a .500 record. Open with a loss in Boston, one in overtime in Montreal, lost in Philly on Monday. Step off. Drops it back for Del Zotto. I don't think we'll see 7-6 here tonight. Not with the way the Leafs defend, with the way the Rangers score. Toronto's second best goals against in the league. Back row for Del Zotto, that hopped away from him, and that's the second time that's happened to him. The first time led to a Kessel breakaway.
Bounces off the boards are not true right now. Every time it hits the boards, popping up in the air.
Phaneuf feeds ahead to Grabowski. Long shot goes off the end board and skips up in the air. Back it goes to Phaneuf. Here's Phaneuf. That gets by Gunnarsson, and Callahan tracking down Gunnarsson. In they go, and Callahan took Gunnarsson in very carefully. Kuhlman battling there with Richards. Now Grabowski pulls it out. Right around. Gus's had to be careful of that loose puck behind the Toronto goal. Grabowski swings it ahead for Kuhlman, intercepted by McDonough. Bumped by Callahan. Now Lupul sweeps that ahead for Kuhlman. Rink wide he goes for Dion Phaneuf. Leafs are changing. Here's Phaneuf buying some time. Slips up behind the goal to Lupul. Lupul bumping there with Girardi. Lays it across as McDonough now picks it up for New York. Being harassed there by Kessel. And now Gustafsson, miscommunication in front and sweeping back to pick up the loose puck. Now turning it over was Lupul. Lupul finally gets it back, and Toronto settles things down as Lupul swings that across. There's Wiles with a shot blocked by Girardi. He was the NHL leader in that department last year. McDonough feeds that across to Girardi. And Boylan across the line. James Duthie, what do you got for us now?
I think we got in the hot tub time machine, and it's 1984. The Jets called timeout. Burmistrov ties it at 7, and then just 1 minute after that, Mark Stewart will make it 8-7 Winnipeg. 5 goals in a little over 3 minutes.
The kind of game players love to play in, and the coaches hate coaching in.
You'd like to think if you score 7, you've got a pretty good chance to win the game. Here's the puck losing the side of the goal. Gustafsson knocks that away. Now Lombardi head for Bozak. Bratton had lost his stick. And in comes Lombardi with it. Sauer, who sends him flying. Now Mike Brown on it. Brown kicks it loose behind the Ranger goal. And Delzato on it. Actually, the Flyers lost 8-7 last year to Tampa. I think that's the only time since the lockout that a team has scored 7 goals in the game and lost. Here's Stecklin across the line. Dave Steckel shoots. Lundqvist to save. Rebound loose in front. Brown couldn't get a handle on that. And here's Dubinsky with it with Callahan. Dubinsky and then Gunnarsson. Drop for the trailer Richards. Brad Richards back in front. Bounces down. Eminger couldn't get a shot away. Steckel drops it back. Here's Eminger with a long shot. That was blocked by Gunnarsson. Kuhlman for Dupuis. And a long shot. Gloved by Lundqvist. 2-1 the score. The Maple Leafs lead here in the third period.
Well, 12 goals less than the Winnipeg-Philly game, but Montreal-Boston is tight. Thomas Plekanec gets his own rebound and scores. It's 2-1 Montreal in the third.
And to score goals in the NHL is all about winning battles. Tim Connolly wins one on the faceoff. And then Joffrey Lupul sees a loose puck, and he decides, that's my puck. I'm going to get to it first. He outmuscles Eriksson, leans on that stick just enough to get it up in the air and over Henrik Lundqvist. And it's a little battle, results in a goal.
Here, Toronto now out shooting the Rangers 31-23. Rangers just 7 shots on goal since the start of the second period. And away comes MacArthur with Kuhlman. MacArthur winds and fires, scores! MacArthur blasted by Lundqvist. 3-1 Toronto leads.
Clark MacArthur deciding enough with the wrist shots, tees up a slapper right through the 5-hole. Henrik Lundqvist stays on his feet, and he gets his first goal of the year. And Anisimov moves down to the 4th line, turns it over to Mike Komisarek, and Clark MacArthur off to the races, elects to shoot, and right through Henrik Lundqvist. Stick is there, overpowers the blade of Lundqvist's stick. 3-1 Leafs, and you see the relief on his face as he gets on the board for the year.
Well, MacArthur's first goal in 11 games going back to last year. Remember the hot start he had last year, scored 6 in his first 7 games, and wound up with 21 on the year. Had to wait a little while longer to get his first this year. But Toronto with a 3-1 lead, and MSG is one of the world's most silent arenas now. Conley centers, backhand shot by Lupul goes wide. There's Kessel with a spinning shot that was blocked by McDonough. Now the Rangers break out 3-on-2. Callahan in, fires, Gustafsson the save. After some early nervous moments, Jonas Gustafsson's been very solid for Toronto. Richards a shot, put that right through the crease. Callahan on it for Dubinsky. Scramble behind the goal for Richard. Has a look with a rolling puck back for Eminger. Down to Richard. Normally Steph ought to be centering this line. Now Callahan backhands that off the leg of Gunnarsson. And here's Callahan trying to center it. Gunnarsson got in the way of that. Richards trying to find Dubinsky in front, and now a late slash. Phaneuf had lost his stick, and a very late call.
That
go
call
against the New York Rangers. It's Brad Richards.
That was made by the bench.
Check that. Dubinsky goes off.
Toronto Leaf bench erupts as Phaneuf got his stick slashed out of his hand by Dubinsky. The Leafs were exhausted out there, just hanging on, trying to get it clear. And Dubinsky just takes a whack at Phaneuf as he tries to get after Brad Richards. And look at the referee way out in the neutral zone. Didn't call it until the reaction from the Leaf bench.
So Toronto to the power play, leading 3-1. Jake Gardiner holds that neatly at the line. Now Girardi with it. Here's MacArthur. Sends out wide of the goal. Lyles down for Kuhlman. Looking for MacArthur. Clark MacArthur taken down. Feeds it back to Lyles. Cross to Gardiner. Jake Gardiner in, shoots, and Lundqvist makes the save. Lyles. Back to MacArthur. Gardiner, one-time shot, and look out. That hit Girardi up high. And Dan Girardi staggered by that shot. Got him in the chest, it would appear, and the man who led the NHL in shot blocks a year ago took a high, hard one there.
You gotta have a lot of courage to stand in those shooting lanes like Dan Girardi does every single game. And you put yourself in harm's way. And he's lucky to catch this one in the chest and not in the face. It was good puck movement, one-touch pass, and Grabowski tees it up and gets up in a hurry on Girardi, who was standing upright at that point.
Here's Phaneuf with it. Down for Connolly. Tim Connolly. Back for Kessel. Lyles. Phaneuf. One-time bullet shot. That was blocked by Anisimov. In comes Lyles with it. Drops it off for Kessel. Back to Phaneuf. Phaneuf hard pass. Lyles tried to one-time it. And put it away wide. Phaneuf. In for Lupul. Joffrey Lupul battling with Anisimov, plays it down low. Eminger on it with time. On his backhand, a tough play for him. Now Fedotenko back for Eminger, and he moves it out. 35 seconds to go in the Dubinsky penalty. On with a 3-1 lead. Away comes Phaneuf. And McDonough feeds out to center ice. Gabrick with a chance, short-handed. And Gunnarsson had to be quick with that to take it away. The official, Ian Walsh, fell. That caused a big cheer from the crowd. And Stepan plays that down to the Toronto zone. Final seconds now of this Maple Leaf power play. And Dubinsky is out, but there are 10 minutes remaining, and the Rangers, the second lowest scoring team in the league, are down by 2. Gardner looks ahead for Bozak. Maple Leafs will be home to Pittsburgh on Saturday. Bengals announcing today that Sidney Crosby will not be playing this weekend. Here comes Bozak. In with Lombardi. Tyler Bozak. Back at the line. Great pass. Phaneuf with a drive. He ripped a missile high.
Oh, great view of it from down here. He had him.
Now the Rangers bring it back. This is Richards again with Dubinsky and Callahan. Back goes Shen. And Luke Shen gathers it up. 33-24 the shots on goal for Toronto. Shen shooting was knocked down. The pass though too far for Richards. And this will be icing against New York. And Tortorella might have to think about timeout here because these guys have been on the ice for a while.
They've already given up a chance against them.
And don't forget the goal Toronto scored off an icing.
They got David Steckel out here against a very tired Brad Richards, trying to take his time getting into the face-off circle.
Toronto controls. Good chance here for Dupuis. Off the leg and wide. Richards digs for it. High off the glass it goes. And Wojtek Wolski brings it ahead. Dupuis slams into him. Rangers get part of the change in. Gabrick comes busting off the bench. Drops it back for Christensen. Looks in front. Found Wolski. Tipped it wide. Eriksson plays that across for Eminger. Lead pass for Volsky, chipped ahead, and back goes Gunnarsson for it. 8.5 to go in the third. Ian Duffy watching that wild Philadelphia-Winnipeg game for us. He'll bring us updates on the Montreal-Boston. There's McCarthy with a shot. Lundqvist kicks that out. Gaborik on it. Up to center ice looking for Volsky. That was knocked away. And now Volsky hacks it back in.
You're seeing the second line of Toronto, Grabowski, McCarthy, Kuhlman starting to get their chemistry back from last year. Their timing is the best in the league as far as moving the puck up the ice.
Hear that chant? We want Avery. Comes Boyle with a shot, that goes high off the glass. Back to Girardi with a shot, that was blocked. And Kessel feeds it up to Lupul, the man who blocked that shot. Lupul sends it in high, and Lundqvist hangs on to that. Toronto up by 2 with 7.5 to go in the third.
James Duthie back with you. We are 14 minutes away from the drop of the puck between the undefeated Capitals and the Oilers. If our game is not done, we'll start that one over on TSN2. By the way, it's still 8-7 Winnipeg, and there was actually a save a minute ago.
What? Put that in the highlights. Nice to see the Flyers have their goaltending problems sorted out.
All that money invested in Brizgalov. Questions again.
Off the face-off win, Delzato sends it down. This will be a quick icing against New York.
Toronto Maple Leafs up 3-1, 7:20 left in this third period. Matthew Lombardi, quick little wrister, then a grinding goal by Joffrey Lupul, strong in front of the net. And then the big howitzer, Mark McArthur, right through Henrik Lundqvist. 2 goals that you would expect Henrik Lundqvist to save.
Face-off was won by Richards. Remains on the line with Callahan and Dubinsky. Richards brings it ahead. Turn the puck over to Komisarek. That draws a groan from the crowd as Lombardi comes back the other way. Long shot on Lundqvist. Right back to Lombardi. Banned on the rebound. And Delzato with the loose puck being watched there by Bozak. And since the end of the first period, the shots were 16-10 in favor of New York. It's 25-8 in favor of the Maple Leafs.
With the speed of the Maple Leafs in the neutral zone, tracking down loose pucks, causing turnovers, forcing the Rangers to play on their own end.
And by the way, as of yesterday, Toronto had the youngest team in the NHL. In comes Dubinsky. Spins and tries to drop it back. Steckel intercepts for Toronto. Welcome back home, New York. They might want to go back to Europe.
Well, Tortorella said, great new building, but it only becomes really great when we win.
This can be an intimidating building both ways. Brown works, it scores! Mike Brown fires one by Lundqvist. 4-1 Toronto.
Mike Brown rewarded for another night of hard work. It's a nice wrister up and over Henrik Lundqvist. As the fourth line gets it done here. And the bench celebrates with Mike Brown. Tim Eriksson has the puck up in his chest. Tough spot to be in. Mike Brown makes the hit, grabs the puck, and then right through Steve Eminger's legs. And over Henrik Lundqvist, who seemed surprised by that shot and that it got up as quickly as it did. Mike Brown snaps it upstairs for his first of the year.
His first goal in his last 18 games going back to last year. And And they've added a lot of new exits here at Madison Square Garden, and the fans are using them.
Toronto goal is first for the season, scored by 18. The assistant number 24, John Michael.
4-1 Toronto leads, 5:45 to go in the third period. Gabrick brings it ahead. Long shot and Gustafson knocks that away. The crowd sarcastically cheers that shot on goal. Pass knocked away from Christensen. Now lead pass for Grabowski with Kuhlman. Nikolai Kuhlman works in. Nifty move by Kuhlman. In alone shoots, and Lundqvist got a piece of that. Back the line is Gardner. What a play to keep it alive, but he turned it over to Gabrick. In comes Gabrick with Volsky. Rangers are changing. Gabrick tries to drop it, and Kuhlman's got it. Ahead for Connolly. Delzato on it. Being watched there by Connolly. And the centering pass goes to Fedotenko ahead for Prost. Brandon Prost busting in. Working on Gunnarsson, and Gunnarsson stripped him of the puck. Pass, banks back to Delzato. A long shot, scores! Michael Delzato off the Phaneuf turnover draws the Rangers within 2.
Crazy bounce in on Jonas Gustafsson. Michael Delzato just throws it in on the net on a rare offensive zone entrance for the New York Rangers. That was well played by Gunnarsson. Then Phaneuf turns this over out to Delzato, and it actually hits Tim Connolly's stick as he's trying to block the shot in the high slot. Take it up and over top of Gustafsson. Give the Rangers a little bit of a life here with 4.5 to go.
So Delzato with his first since last November in Minnesota. The Rangers are within 2 with 4.5 to go. So a breath of life for New York. But still nothing from the big guns. Their goals coming from a pair of defensemen, Girardi and Delzato.
It's not even no goals, it's no pressure, no offensive zone time.
Richards fires it down on Gustafsson, and he'll hold on to that. The NHL on TSN, back to Madison Square Garden right after this. You can take to the ice at the World Junior in Edmonton live on TSN and try to win a Chevrolet Volt and $1 million. Visit tsn.ca/Volt for full details and find out how to enter. And meantime, a penalty to New York's Brandon Dubinsky for this.
Unsportsmanlike conduct for the snow shower on Gustafsson. We rarely see that called. And Dubinsky, a minute and a half later, is still steamed, banging the stick off the glass.
So Toronto to the power play with 4:02 to go, but this will take some valuable time off the clock for the Maple Leafs. Miles, lead pass, in comes MacArthur again, tried to drop it back. MacArthur scored from that spot earlier, but elected to pass that time.
Callahan was gone short-handed had he not been back-checking so hard. Might see some of the Rangers start cheating for some offense here.
Gabrick is out there killing the penalty. Kuhlman, back to MacArthur. Toronto has allowed 2 short-handed goals this year. Here's Stepan. Derek Stepan works in. Long shot. Gustafsson makes the save. And McDonough plays it back in deep. Racing to it is Gabrick. Lyle took it away from him. Now the Maple Leafs are away. MacArthur drops for Grabowski. They crisscross. And McDonough takes that away from Grabowski. 3 to go in the period. Less than a minute to go in the Dubinsky penalty. Away comes New York. Anisimov with Stepan. Artem Anisimov pulls his way in. Anisimov still on it. Drops it back in front for Delzato. And Delzato couldn't get a shot away. Now he feeds it back. Here's Richards with a shot. Loose puck in front. Kessel clears it away. 2 good short-handed chances for New York.
Using this power play like they're trying not to get scored on. Instead of going the other way, thinking offense.
3-on-2 the other way. Kessel, Lupul in, shoots. It's off the stick and high off the glass. Out the other
side he goes. Kessel racing to it. Lozano steps hard into him. Here's Lupul with it. Back to Kessel. Now Kessel sets things up. Gardner comes sneaking in. The backdoor pass through his feet. Final seconds now of the penalty. And Anisimov with it. Anisimov across the line. Feeds it back in front. One-time shot. Gustafson makes a great save. As McDonough stepped into that one. Now Dubinsky out of the box. Feeds it for Richards. Hard shot. Rebound loose in front. Dubinsky can't find it. And Gustafson has it. More action from Philadelphia. James Duffy.
It just gets nuttier, Gord. Under 4 minutes left in the game. James Van Riemsdyk parked at the side of the net, and we have crazy eights. First 16-goal game post-lockout era.
Wow. Going to set a record there.
Timeout here for the Rangers.
1:45 to go in the third. And a face-off in the Toronto zone.
And this is part of the learning process. You mentioned how the Leafs were the youngest team in the NHL, learning how to close out games, had a power play with 4 minutes left. It's not that they didn't score, but they didn't continue to press offensively, started playing defensively. And Jake Gardner, he was out there. His ice time has gone way down tonight as he spots himself in and out of regular duty in the NHL.
Just 21 years old. First round pick of the Ducks in 2008. He went to Toronto along with Joffrey Lupul in the deal that sent Francois Beauchemin to Anaheim.
But I've liked Dion Phaneuf has really been encouraging and prodding and in Gardner's ear all game, trying to get the best out of Gardner in this game. Some of the leadership from Dion Phaneuf. And the goalie out for the Rangers.
With 1:45 to go. So the extra skaters on, and Gabrick's playing the point for New York. Drops it down for Callahan. Christensen standing in front. Now the puck loose in the corner. Dubinsky reaching in for it. Richards calling for it. But Callahan couldn't get it to him. Phaneuf flips it up, and now Gabrick pitches up. Takes a hard bump there from Fratton. And Matt Fratton on the ice, protecting a lead. Gabrick tries to feed in front. Phaneuf had that knocked away. Gabrick to Richards. Long drive, floats high and wide. Here's Delzato on it. Delzato down low for the Rangers to Callahan. Richards and Gabrick are the point men right now for New York. Now Gabrick comes sneaking in. Dubinsky. Final minute now of the third period. Dubinsky. Heels off Bozak. Christensen sends it in front. Gabrick couldn't find it. Now Richards with a drive. Gustafson save, and he hangs on as the puck sticks to his pad with 47 seconds to go.
Some good pressure from the Rangers. Leafs doing a nice job keeping them to the perimeter. Puck finally comes out to Brad Richards. Matt Fratton trying to block it, forces Richards to pull that one to the far side of the net. And a good rebound, meaning no rebound from Jonas Gustafsson on that shot.
And Mike, you got to give him credit on a strange day when James Reimer goes on IR, coming back into the building where he got beat 6 times last year. Gustafsson's been very good for Toronto tonight.
Been good, especially after giving out that soft one early. And the team in front of it has been very good as well.
About 1 on 30 shots tonight. Ranger net remains empty as Volsky goes back. Now a chance for Brown to get 2. Fired that high. In comes Boyle. Backhands in front, missed Fedotchenko. The Edmonton-Washington game is underway on TSN2. We'll join it as soon as this is over. Miles banks that out. The New York Rangers, after a long road trip, return home to their new-look building and basically lay an egg down 4-2 as the Toronto Maple Leafs are going to finish this 4-game road trip at 2-2.
A pretty good road trip after a strong start for the Leafs at home in their 5-game homestand. Into some tough buildings, Montreal, Philly, Boston. Home opener for the Rangers to come out 2-2. Successful trip.
Face off, Toronto controls and sends it out. Lundqvist is back in the Ranger net. And the Toronto Maple Leafs win it by a final score of 4-2, dominating the final 2 periods of the hockey game, and the Rangers are showered with boos as they leave the ice. That'll do it from Madison Square Garden. Now let's send you to Edmonton. The Oilers and Capitals.